Hi everyone. We're on what Butler Maps rates as an excellent road. Their very best highly rated roads in the maps that they publish, and they finally published one for the Appalachian area, and we are at the very bottom of the map, bottom left-hand corner. In fact, part of this I don't think is even on the map, but it's one of their most highly rated, and I think it's because of the view. And we're in the I believe we're still in the National Forest, and I haven't seen anything on the side of the road, so it does really look nice out through here. But I want to take the opportunity while we're riding through some beautiful scenery here. I want to tell you a story. I want to tell you about my son. I want to tell you why his name was almost Otis. Beautiful roads out here, man. This is really nice. Look, what a terrific ride through here. All right, anyway, here's the story. Where my wife is 9 months pregnant. She's due any minute. And we get up a Sunday morning, and unbeknownst to me, about 7 o'clock that morning, my wife had gone into labor. She didn't tell me. We come home after church, about 12 o'clock, and we fix some sandwiches. We're all sitting there eating our lunch. And her water breaks while we're sitting at the table. Well, now is the first time she's admitted to me that she is in labor. And I am freaking out, because I had everything planned out. I knew where we had to go. We had the doctors all worked out. We had it okay with the hospital. All we had to do is call them, tell them we were on the way, and we knew we'd have 4, 5, 6 hours at least before James came along, so we could keep, we could take it easy. So I said, okay, we got to get to the car. So I grabbed Christian, who's 6, and grabbed my wife's purse and headed to the car. Well, she's not headed to the car. She's headed to the bedroom. And I asked her what the hell she was doing, and she said, oh, I got to pack a bag. She hadn't even packed yet. I don't know whether it was denial or what it was, but she hadn't even packed any clothes. Well, at this point, I didn't care if she went naked. I wanted to get her to the hospital. But she, one hand on the dresser, one hand reaching into drawers, pulling out stuff, and having contractions all the while. And now I can see the contractions, because she's not hiding them now. You can see them in her face. And she finally gets a bag put together, and I said, can we leave now? She said, yeah. So get her in the front seat of the minivan. Now, we've got an old Chrysler minivan, and that's what we're going in. I've thrown Christian in the back seat, strapped her in, and grabbed everything. I got the bag, I got her in the car, off we go. Well, we are where we lived. We were about, 25 miles from the hospital. Had to go through town for part of it, so we're probably looking at a good 40-minute drive to get her to the hospital. Well, I'm running that minivan as fast as I can safely go without killing us. And it's through country roads. This isn't on the highway. These are twisty, windy country roads similar to this. In fact, we've ridden on some of those together in some of my North Carolina vlogs. So I'm booking it with this minivan. I'm hitting all the red lights like I tend to seem to do. And she gets real quiet in the seat beside me. Christian is falling asleep in the back, so it's just me and a very quiet pregnant woman beside me. And so I'm drive faster and faster, and the closer we get, the quieter she becomes. Oh, this is a nice little rise up here. I can see why they rate this as one of their best roads. Oh yeah, great view out through the trees there. Alrighty. Well, we're about, I'd say, 3 good long city blocks away from the hospital. And we catch a red light, and there is a sound that I've never, oh, here we go. Oh, looky here. Just do a quick ride here. Oh yeah, looky here. Now I know why they rate this so highly. Okay, off both sides. Alrighty. Okie doke. Back to my story. I know you're on pins and needles. We're sitting at this stoplight, and I hear a sound from her I've never heard in my whole life. I hope I never hear it again. It was sort of a moaning, painful, defeated, I don't know what it was. It was just, it chilled my soul. It actually just froze it. And I just froze into what to do. I looked at her, and she's curled up in a little fetal ball with her head laying next to the window, just shaking and moaning. And I am freaking out. I look up, the light's still red, and I'm ready to I said, to hell with it. I'm just trying to pick a spot through traffic to run it. And I look over there, and there's a police officer in the other lane looking right at me. I'm trying to decide, now what do I do? Do I flag him down? Should I grab him and say, hey, look, let's, I got a pregnant woman here. I got to get to the hospital right now. Well, before I could make up my mind or even really consider it, the light turned green, and off I went again. And I burned rubber those last 2 blocks. Didn't care if he caught me or not. Oh, looky here. Oh, my. Now that's some road there. Whoa. So I get to the emergency room. I pull up, screech up to there, and jump out of the car, and there's an attendant there at the door, and I run up to him and I say, my wife is having a baby. We need a wheelchair right now. So he gets one and comes around. In the meantime, I'm getting her door open and getting her eased around, and kind of supporting her, and she's making those noises, and it's just killing me. She's making these noises. So he gets there, finally saunters up with the wheelchair, and we get her set in the wheelchair, and he says, you can't leave your car here. And I said, oh crap. And I jump in the van real quick, and fortunately they have a parking lot, just not 100 feet away, and I zipped over there real quick, found a spot, grabbed Christian, had to wake her up because she's asleep, half carry and half drag her with the bag and with my wife's purse and shoes, because she had slipped her shoes off in the car. And I get to the door and go in, and my wife is sitting in the middle of the emergency room in the wheelchair, nobody even around her. And she's not real. When I say sitting in the wheelchair, she's not really sitting. She's kind of, rocked over on one side, like she's got to pass some gas or something. And she's just moaning and just shaking. And I'm freaking out. And I go over to the nurse at the desk, and I tell her, look, I'm so-and-so, Sam, this is my wife. We've got doctors already know about it. We're here to have this baby. And she says, okay, fine. And then of course she's used to seeing, frantic fathers, and, it's never a problem for them, of course. And, I'm just freaked out. It's not a big deal, right? And so I turn around, and a nurse has come up and is trying to talk to my wife, and my wife can't talk to her. And she says, honey, sit down in the seat. Why can't you sit down? She tries to actually push my wife back over to sit fully in the chair, and she won't do it. And so I said, look, she's having the baby. She's in contractions. Water broke. We got to go. We got to get her up. We got to get her in her room. And the woman says, okay. So go over to the elevator, and another nurse meets her there, and doors open up, and we get her in the elevator, and we got to go up 2 floors. And I'm still dragging my daughter and the bag and the shoes and the purse, and freaking out the whole time. And my wife is still moaning and shaking and won't sit down in the chair. Well, the nurse said, honey, are you all right? And she said, let me check. And my wife had been still wearing her church clothes. She had a skirt on, or dress, I guess. And the nurse went around front of the wheelchair and lifted up her skirt. And the next thing I know, the door's open, and I hear this nurse scream as loud as she can, "We need a room! We need a room right now!" And I just about lost it right there. I gotta tell you, even just remembering this, it just, so emotional at the time. And off they go. She and that other nurse, the one nurse running ahead of her, and this nurse pushing the wheelchair as fast as they can run down this long hallway. And the room is at the very end of the hallway. It faces the hallway. And I see another nurse step over there and open the door, and they rush her in. And the door is shut. And just as I get there and slide to a stop, the nurse says, "You can't take that little girl in there." And I said, "Oh, crap." So I turned around, and I had, corner of my eye, I had seen the waiting room area on the same floor at the opposite end of the hallway, right where we come out of the elevators. So I run back down there, I plop my daughter down in front of the TV, and a couple of older people were in there. I don't know what they were there for, but they were just sitting there, and I said, "You sit right here for 1 second." And they had a phone there. And I grabbed the phone and I called my father. Now my father lived about, 5-6 minutes away from the hospital. I called him, I said, we are having the baby. You need to get up here now. And he said, okay, all righty. So that's taken me, what's it taken me, 30 seconds? Maybe a minute to do all of this? And I run down the hallway and bust through the door just in time to see the nurse holding my son right at the examining table, and they're cleaning him up. He's already been born. And I go over to him, and she says, "Everything is fine. Your wife's fine. The baby's fine. Everything's great." And I was really relieved, of course. And I talked to the nurse, and I said, "What? Why were you so freaked out?" And she said, "Well, when I looked under your wife's skirt, and your wife had already passed his head. His head was almost completely out of your wife at that point. The only thing holding him in was her pantyhose." And she said, "When I got her in here and we got her up on the table and I pulled her pantyhose down, whoosh, he came with him. He was born." And so really, technically speaking, my son was born in the elevator. And don't know whether you have them over there. We certainly have them here. One of the biggest elevator manufacturers in this area is called Otis. And for just a little while, I toyed with the idea of naming my son James Otis Smith, just so he would have a little different part to the story. But we didn't. We took pity on it, and we named him after his grandfather. Well, sorry it took so long to tell the story and I stumbled around so much, but I tell you, it still means as much to me. I get so emotional about it, still as emotional about it now as I did then. So, oh well, that's the end of that story. Hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you've enjoyed riding on this incredible road. We're going to do a little more riding on it because I think I've got a good ways to go yet, and hopefully no rain. Alrighty, talk to you in a little bit.